And welcome to another edition of Health with Coach T, episode number 8. So for today's topic, we are going to be talking about the 5 food groups. So whenever you're eating, you want to make sure that you're eating from all 5 food groups, or making sure that you're getting at least 3 or 4 out of your typical day. So I say all that to say you want to make sure that you're not only eating your protein, which is going to be your chicken, your steak, your fish, and then you're not eating any vegetables with it. Now, that's not healthy. We know that as we get older and we age, our bodies are going to slow down. So if you're eating, I say this very frequently, if you're eating out a lot, you're eating a lot of fast food, you're not putting anything healthy into your body, you're going to have some problems, whether that be with your body not regulating you regularly or health concerns or health issues, whatever the case might be. So the first one that we're going to talk about is fruit. So fruit is one of the 5 food groups. So we know that we have apples, strawberries, bananas, kiwi, oranges, dragon fruit. These are going to be the example of your fruits. Okay, then we have our vegetables. As of late, I've really been into eating broccoli. You know, broccoli is pretty good. Now, I don't like my broccoli when it's like dry, when it's just boiled, but I've enjoyed whenever, like recently, I just put some broccoli on the stove in the skillet. Ooh, it tastes good. You put some lemon pepper seasoning on your broccoli. Okay, so that's the way that you can make your broccoli a little bit more tasty. All right, so we have broccoli. Then on Father's Day, I just had some Brussels sprouts. It's similar to broccoli. They're like in the same family or whatnot. So that was another example of a vegetable. So we have broccoli, we have Brussels sprouts, we have cabbage, we have lettuce, we have squash. There are several vegetables out there that you could be eating that could be a benefit to your body. So we talked about fruits, we talked about vegetables. Then we have what are called grains. So grains are going to be like your oatmeal, your cereal, your rice, your bread. So instead of you maybe having those biscuits and sausage, waffles and sausage, or waffles and bacon, whatever you're eating in the morning, maybe you switch it up and you add some oatmeal to your diet. Maybe you have some oatmeal and you have some blueberries. Number one, off the jump, something that I noticed after I had some oatmeals and some blueberries, then more than likely later that day, I would have a bowel movement. And bowel movements are very important. The less bowel movements that you're having, that means that the more your body is getting bagged up. And it's not to say that you can't have any bread in your diet, but bread, for some people, it constipates them and it takes a long time for them to digest. So if you're eating a large, excessive amount of bread, then that's not going to be good. And it's going to lead to high cholesterol, okay? So we talked about fruits, we talked about vegetables, we talked about grains. Then we are going to talk about, we know about our proteins. It's going to be your steak, it's going to be your fish. Those are going to be example of your types of protein that you're going to be having. Your body needs protein. So protein is going to be helping to build up your body. But even with protein, you can't have too much in it. And especially like with steak. Steak is a red meat. So if you're eating a lot of steak, a lot of burgers, that's not healthy. And it can lead to you having polyps and potentially having colon cancer when you get older. Okay, so you got to make sure that you're watching your red meat intake. Okay, you can't have red meat every day. Maybe at a 7-day week, maybe you're having it once or twice, but you can't have it all the time. And then truthfully and honestly, you should be doing a detox to try to get some of that out of your body in addition to working out. So we know that if we're eating cereal, then more than likely we have milk with it. So that's going to be your dairy. We know also about, so we have milk, we have yogurt, we have cheese, sour cream. These are all going to be examples of things that have dairy in them, whatever you're using them for. But just know, even with the dairy, sometimes it's going to cause, like we know that milk is going to be good for our bones, but if you're eating too much dairy, then it can lead to you having some issues as well, okay? Constipation. Too much of something is not good. Like, for example, sometimes when people eat a lot of ice cream, those specifically that are lactose intolerant, you're going to have a lot of gas after you eat all of that ice cream. So even with that, you got to eat it in moderation. Pretty much anything in this world we got to have in moderation. You can't have too much of anything because that's not good for our body, and our body has no way of regulating it. So the 5 food groups are grains, dairy, protein, and vegetables. I couldn't think of the last one. Fruits, grains, dairy, protein, vegetables. Those are the 5 food groups that you should be trying to eat from whenever you are eating daily. Stay tuned for another edition of Health with Coach T. Peace.